cold out. It's cold out. There hasn't been much energy to make more video, and that's been interesting. Someone was speaking yesterday and kind of a domino off of that, what wants to be talked about is striving, this topic of importance in a lot of spiritual circles and certainly in the meditation community, but others as well, of the importance of not grasping, not attaining, not getting further than you are noticing the graspy clinginess, pushing awayness of life. And that's so hard in a culture where you're taught you have to be more than you actually are. Who you really are, what you really are isn't enough. Your body's not enough. Your body's your body's incompetent. Your body's too much. Your needs are too great. Your emotions are too much. You don't fit into the norm, mold, expectation, and even those who do, you have to get more and more and more. You don't have to stop striving. You couldn't possibly stop striving because there isn't to separate you. Doesn't matter whether the striving is happening spiritually to want to get more awake or more kind or more blissful, or whether the striving is happening at work, getting more prestige or security or financial safety net, or at home to get more love, more confidence, being a family member, being a parent, being a child, being a partner, more friends. Whatever area the striving is happening, you can't stop doing that. I think a lot of misunderstanding that non-striving doesn't make sense, because then life is just passive. If you just let go of everything, if I just accepted that I was disabled, or if I just accepted that I'm not awake, and if I just accepted that my job sucks and I'm never going to get out of it, then I'm always just going to be in a state of suffering or numbness. And that makes so much sense, that questioning of like the contradiction of non-striving just sounds great. Accepting, allowing life to be as it is, but how the hell am I going to do that? And you're not. You couldn't possibly. There's no one person in control, and that sounds so wacky and scary maybe, and new agey, or like I'm the Antichrist or something, but the mind can't really understand this, and that's fine. And the words that I'll try to use to describe it are just like placeholders for the actual experience. So they couldn't possibly be entirely accurate. But the process of non-striving I'm in a place right now with some traffic. The process of non-striving is life waking up to itself, of seeing that there was no separate person that could possibly add to this experience, that could possibly be in the future planning something already, or possibly be in the past trying to reclaim something that once was. Life, non-striving, is waking up to that it already is as it is. And that is the death of the separate soul, the awakening into just this life. No one controlling it, no one concretely attached to anything. For me, and disability and trauma and relapse, that was a very violent awakening into, like, I would have done anything I could have to fix the problem, to fix my body, and in many ways, mentally, there were so many aspects of my life where I could pretend that I was actually doing that. But the severity and the black and white, so to speak, truth of what the body was experiencing, and that it wasn't my body and it wasn't a me in any of this, and there never was, and the unraveling of that happened really intensely here and effectively. I wouldn't wish that on anyone. I don't wish suffering on anyone, but suffering can help clarify that when we're at a point of despair and there's nothing we can do to stop the suffering, surrendering and non-striving is life waking up to the no separate self. And that can be, even with pain, even with challenge, that can be and is a huge energetic release. Although the process of grieving and death can take place in many different ways, can be beautiful and peaceful, can be so tragic. There is such a great amount of energy that goes into striving, trying to be different, repressing who we are, planning in the future, ruminating on the past. That when that softens, even if it still happens in its shadow forms, which the body's conditioning will still play out, when it's felt and experienced that there's nothing at the center here controlling this, that life can be and is and has to be trusted because life is life. There aren't really words to explain the beauty in that. It doesn't mean that someone who experiences and sees that their life is better or more valuable than someone else, but it's just that something is seen and then it has a domino effect. And that some suffering can be released. Some. Doesn't mean all pain will go away. But certainly some avoidable suffering can be released. And there's one more thing that wants to be shared if I can find it. Yeah, to address the fear that realizing there's no separate me, and realizing that striving doesn't get me anywhere I couldn't possibly get anywhere. And the pattern of letting go, of non-striving, whatever you want to call it, awakening, peace, unity, I'm sure there are many other spiritual words that I don't remember, but somehow there's some passivity in that, like a letting go that is passive. And what wants to be clarified is that by letting go of the energy that was pushing life down, that was hiding the true nature here, was hiding, like, if this is feeling shame, or if this is feeling rejection, or if this is tight, or if this is disassociated. That by just allowing the thisness of here now, this is cold. This is taking a breath. This is unsure what's gonna happen when this video ends. Like the release of any expectation, any repression, any striving, releases the energy that it took to push down, and allows the energy of life to unfold. And life is powerful. Life is not passive. Life is vibrant, and life is turbulent, and life changes, and life moves. And we are part of it. We are not passive, and yet it's not owned by anyone. It's so hard to talk about. But it's quite the opposite of the fear of passivity in non-striving. It's quite the opposite of what actually happens when one is awakened to the fact that I can't do anything to control this life. There's no I. There's no separate identity. And here, although the disability is still a big part of my life, the energy, the somatic experience of awakening to life, awakening to the false lessons, that false conditioning, the false, all of it shedding that separateness in a certain sense, although the conditioning still shows up. That has opened so much energy here. And not to paint a rosy picture, because I have ups and downs and progression, and that doesn't mean that I've fallen back into feeling striving necessarily, though that can happen, but the mind can't possibly understand the safety of just this. And not just safety, like beyond, on an energetic level, like beyond safe. A vibrant, even in death kind of vibrant.